All right, our probability worksheet. Number one, fair coin is thrown in the air 4 times and it landed up on heads the first 3 tosses. It wants to just know the probability the coin will land on heads the 4th toss. Now these are independent of each other because it doesn't matter if you rolled tails all 3 times or heads all 3 times. That doesn't matter because the 4th one is not affected by that, so it's independent. So what we're going to do is the probability it will land on heads is just 1/2 because 1 is heads out of 2 choices. All right, number 2, how many different 3-digit numbers can be made from the digits 6, 8, and 9 if each digit appears only once in the arrangement? We have 3 spots here. So we have 3 possibilities for the first digit. It could be a 6, 8, or a 9. Now, I took that digit and I put it in that first spot, so there's only 2 that are left for the second digit. And then for the third digit, I've already used 2 numbers, so now I only have 1 left to choose from. So when we just multiply these for each event, there's 3 times 2 times 1 different ways to make 6, 8, and 9. And you could write these out. It could be 6, 8, 9, 6, 9, 8. And then we could do 8, 6, 9, 8, 9, 6. Or it could be 9, 6, 8, 9, 8, 6. So those are the 6 different ways. But the shortcut is just to do 3 ways times 2 ways times 1 ways, which is 6. All right, number 3, how many different 6-letter arrangements can be formed? All right, so 6 places, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 different spots. So, and these are all different letters here. So I could have an A, B, S, E, N, or a T. So that's 6 different choices for the first spot. And it says they're only used once. So now there's only 5 possibilities for the second letter. And I've already used 2 of them, so now there's only 4 possibilities, then 3 possibilities, then 2, and then 1. And all I do is multiply each of these numbers together. And this is really it's called 6 factorial. Factorial is an exclamation point, and it just means you do multiply by 1 less than what you started with. So 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 until you get to 1. And that gives us the total number of outcomes. So that would multiply to give us 720. All right, number 4, if probability of E is the probability an event will occur, what must be false? Well, probabilities range between 0 and 1. In other words, 0% to 100%. It can't be less or greater than that. So -1 makes no sense. And then the last one, number 5, 1 factorial is just 1. 2 factorial is 2 times 1. 3 factorial is 3 times 2 times 1, and it wants us to add up each of these. So it's 1 plus 2 times 1, 1 plus, adding those all together, 3 times 2 times 1, so that would be 1 plus 2 plus 6, which gives us 9. All right, let's jump over to number 6 now. Okay, number 6, it says you have the last 4 digits, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and are 3, 6, 8, and 9, it says. So 3, 6, 8, and 9. And it says the maximum number of telephone calls. In other words, they want the total number of outcomes. So if we use the 3, so there's 4 different possibilities for the first number. We could use a 3, 6, 8, or a 9. Let's say we use the 3. If we use the 3, now there's only 3 numbers left that we could use for the second spot. Let's say we chose a 6. Now there's only 2 letters left, so now we have 2 left. And then if we chose 1 there, now there's only 1 left for that last spot. So that's 4 factorial again. It's 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which gives us 24. Okay, number 7. Standard deck of 52 cards is shuffled. What's the probability of choosing the 5 of diamonds? Well, you only have 1 5 of diamonds out of 52 cards. So that one's pretty easy. Number 8, a die is rolled. What's the probability the number is greater than 2 and even. Well, I'm going to write down the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which one of these fit both criteria? Greater than 2 is 3, 4, 5, and 6. Which one of those are even? Also even would be 4 and 6. So you have 2 out of a total of 6 possibilities, which is 1/3. All right, 9. A pair of dice is rolled. A possible event is rolling a multiple of 5. What is the probability of the complement of this event? Well, how can we get a 5? Well, 5 is one sum that we could get. So we're rolling 2 different die. And the maximum we could get is 12, right? If we got a 6 and a 6, we'd get a 12. Well, what are the different multiples? Remember, multiples are like 5, 10, 15, 20. So 5 and 10 are the only 2 possibilities. How can we get a 5 or a 10 rolling 2 dice? 2 dice would give us, how about 2 and 3 or 3 and 2? And what's another way we can get 5? If we roll a 1 and a 4 or a 4 and a 1. Now let's talk about 10. We could roll a 5 and a 5, or we could roll a 6 and a 4, or a 4 and a 6. So how many ways is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 out of how many total ways? Well, there's 6 possibilities on the first die, times 6 possibilities on the second die gives us 36 outcomes. So 7 out of 36. But it wants the complement. So that's the probability of that not happening. So we just do 1 minus 7 over 36. In other words, 36 over 36 minus 7 over 36. And that would give us 29 over 36. All right, and now we're on 10. Your state issues license plates, and it says it's going to be 2 letters and then 3 numbers. And you can repeat them, it says. So the first spot, we have 26 possibilities for our letter. We can repeat that letter, so we still have 26 possibilities for the second letter. And then for our numbers, there's 10 digits. So 10, we can reuse them, it says. So 10 again, and 10 again. Multiply those all together, and you get the last choice, which is 676,000. So we just multiplied each of those together. All right, let's jump over to number 11. 11 says, how many elements are in the sample space of rolling 1 die? Well, a die just has 6 possibilities, so it would just be 6. Number 12, evaluate. So we do parentheses first, we get 5. And it's 5 factorial. Remember, factorial means 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is 60, times 2 is 120. So that would be answer choice 2. Number 13, how many different 5-letter arrangements are there in the word digit? Well, this one's a little tricky because you have I's are used twice. So what we're going to do on this one is the same thing we did earlier. It's still going to be 5 different spots. So we could have 5 possibilities, 4 possibilities, 3, 2, and 1. However, after we get this answer, we need to divide by the number of repeating letters. All right, so really that's just 5 factorial. Now be careful, because there's 1 repeating letter, the I. So the I repeats, there's 2 of it. So you would divide by, since there's 2 here, you divide by 2 factorial, which in this case is just 2. So if there would have been 3 I's, we would have divided by 3 factorial. 4 I's, 4 factorial. So when you do that, it's really 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 2 times 1. So the 1's and the 2's cancel. So it's really just 5 times 4, which is 20, 20 times 3, which is 60. So the correct answer choice is 60. So 13 is especially tricky because you have the repeating digits. All right, number 14. 2 cards are drawn at random from the standard deck of 52 cards without replacing. What's the probability of drawing a 7? Well, there are 4 sevens. There's a 7 of hearts, 7 of clubs, 7 of diamonds, 7 of spades. So there's 4 different 7s out of 52 cards. And then the second event is going to be out of 51 because we've already taken 1 card out. And it says drawing a king. Well, how many kings are in a deck? We have the king of hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. That's 4 kings. So just multiply across, and I'm going to go ahead and simplify this. 4 over 52 reduces to 2 over 26, which is 1 over 13. I just divided those both by 4. So multiply across, we'd have 4 over 663. So that would be answer choice 4. All right, so that was dependent. The second event depended on the first event. That's why we changed that to a 51. All right, 15. Movie theater sells 3 sizes of popcorn, small, medium, large, 3 choices of toppings, no butter, butter, and extra butter. How many different ways can a bag of popcorn be purchased? We could have small could be grouped with no butter, small could be with butter, small could be with extra butter. There's 3 ways. Medium can be with butter, no butter, and extra butter. There's 6 ways. Large could be with no butter, butter, and extra butter. That's 9 ways. So you could list those all out, and the shortcut is just there's 3 events for the sizes, and then 3 events for the toppings, which gives us 9. All right, let's jump to 16. A bottle contains 8 marbles. 3 are red, 5 are blue. And we're taking one without looking. What's the probability we'll get a red? Well, there's 3 red out of 8. So that one's pretty easy. That one's just 3 out of 8. There's just 1 event there. 17, pair of dice is rolled, and the resulting number is odd. What's the complement? Well, remember, complement is the probability of it not happening. So if it's not odd, then it has to be even. So 17 is choice 2. Number 18, you roll 2 dice. The first die shows a 1. So we already have that answer as a 1. And then it's saying, what's the probability for the second choice that we're going to get a 1 again? Well, you've already gotten that first 1. So what's the probability you're going to get a 1? Well, it's 1 out of 6. So don't overthink that one. If you didn't know that you got a 1 on the first choice, the answer would have been 1/6 times 1/6, and it would have been 1 over 36. But this one tells you that you know you got a 1, so that's not how we do this. It would just be 1/6. Because the second event is not dependent on the first. Okay, number 19. From a standard deck of cards, 1 card is drawn. What's the probability? It's black and a jack. It doesn't say or a jack, it says and. So how many black jacks are in a deck? We could have the jacks could be, there's 4 jacks in the deck. 2 of them are red, hearts or diamonds, and 2 of them are black, spades or clubs. So it would be 2 out of 52 total cards, which reduces to 1/26. And our last one, number 20. Piggy bank contains 2 quarters, 3 dimes, 4 nickels, and 5 pennies. 1 is removed at random. What's the probability? It's a dime or a nickel. So it's a dime or a nickel. So we just need to find out how many dimes and nickels are in there. So there's 3 dimes, 4 nickels. That's 7 out of a total of 3 plus 4 plus 2 plus 5 gives us 14. So it's really 1/2. That's not an answer choice. So 7/14 is our best choice.